Hello everyone, it's Miss J. Welcome to my channel. And today guys, we will be doing a video on faith. Yes guys, I told you that I would be coming on here with more faith videos. So let me do some housekeeping things before we jump into the content today. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I am Mrs. J. I am a wife. I am a mother of 5 beautiful daughters. I also have 3 grandchildren, and I am an educator. I am a cancer survivor. That's why sometimes you see me wearing scarves and things like this. And I am just a hardcore believer in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So on this channel, I do videos about faith, about family, and finances. Mainly couponing and ways to save money, and with the family is more things about like education and things like that. So with that being said, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you are a faithful and loyal follower, thank you again, and remember to give this video a thumbs up and to share it. Okay guys, so let me jump right into the content today. Like I said, this video is going to be faith. I told you guys in the last video, I think, that I was going to be doing more faith-based content. So this is episode number 2 of what I am calling Health and Wellness, the Road to Life. And I'll tell you why I'm choosing that title as we talk about this, as we get into the content. So today I want to talk about how to hear from God, because that is just so important. How do we hear from God? And I guess as a subtitle, we could call it, how does God speak? Because that is just so important when you are building your faith and when you're walking down this road of life. How to build your faith, and how does God speak? Okay, how does God speak? So one of the ways that God speaks, and he definitely speaks to me a lot in this way, is through dreams and or visions. Okay, so dreams happen, you know, when you're asleep, and then visions are more like you're wide awake and the Lord takes you into the spirit realm, and it's like you're dreaming, but you're not, because it's like you're dreaming but you're awake instead of being asleep. So that is one of the ways that God speaks. The other way that God speaks is through the inward voice, like your conscience. You know, like, I don't know what generation you grew up in, but I grew up in the generation where we watch cartoons on Saturday mornings, and sometimes on the cartoons you see the bad angel on one side, and then you see the little good angel on the other side, and it's telling you in your mind like that bad thought, good thought. So that's that inward voice. You know, have you ever been someplace and the Lord tells you, you hear this voice like, you need to go home. Or, you know, you have a thought of, I'm going to go in a certain direction. Like, you know, you're going to go to work, but you always go the same direction. And one day you get up and the Lord says, hey, don't go this way. Don't go the normal way you go. Inside you hear, go the opposite direction. Go a different way. It may be longer, but go that way. And then you find out when you went the longer way, there was an accident on the way that you normally go. So that's that inward voice. And then the last one is people. So I just gave them to you real quick, but now I'm going to go back. The teacher and me, we're going to go back and we're going to review. So we're going to talk about dreams and visions, the inward voice, and then people. So I'm going to start with people first. All right. So when I say people, I'm talking about whereas, you know, you go to church, you may hear the preacher preach something, okay? Because how does faith come? By the hearing of the word, all right? So you may hear the preacher preach. If you cannot get out of your home, you know, there are a lot of online churches and things like that. I know, like my church, we broadcast our service via live stream, so people on the internet can see it. When I say people, you could be in the grocery store talking to someone and God comes and speaks a word to you from a person that's in the grocery store. Like you was just in your prayer time praying about something, and then you strike up a conversation with somebody in the grocery store, and God sends the answer to that prayer right there. When I say people, sometimes it can be your children. Sometimes it could be your children. The other day, my little girl came to me. She said, Mommy, I had a dream about such and such and such and such. She came and she told me God didn't speak it directly to me, but he spoke it to my child. And I was able to understand what he was saying through my child. So videos like me, sometimes you may be going through something, and someone, a content creator, could create a video, and some of the things you have before the Lord, they answer those things, or give you insight through their videos. I prayerfully, God is using me in that way. Hopefully, that he will use me to answer some of the questions that you have on your heart. So people, that is one way that God can speak to you. Now again, that inward voice, that is, I think, the most common way that God speaks. You're just here, like even when you're like if you work a job outside of your home, God may say, get to work early today. Okay, let me give you a prime example. When I first started teaching, and in my state, you have to go through an evaluation period. Okay, like your second year of teaching, you have to go through an evaluation period where throughout the semester, 3 different evaluators come into your classroom unannounced. You don't know when they're coming, but you better be ready, okay? And they're going to come and they're going to evaluate you. And if you don't pass that process, they don't have to offer you a teaching contract for the next year. So it is a very high stakes type of thing. And so you always want to be ready. And so it never failed. Every time I was going to be evaluated, I was never taken by surprise, because that inward voice would tell me, okay, today they're coming to evaluate you. You better be on your game today. Which, I mean, as a teacher, I'm trying to always be on my game. But, sometimes when someone comes to evaluate you, you can get a little nervous. So I think that was the Lord just telling me to be calm. I don't need to get nervous. Just do your job. Because I loved teaching and I loved my students. So every time, it never failed. Whenever I was going to be evaluated, the Lord would tell me, okay, they're coming today. Now, he may not have told me whether they're coming like in the morning during reading or in the afternoon during math. He just would say, okay, you're going to have an evaluation today. And just like clockwork, they would walk in the door. Another time where the Lord spoke to me was just on my mind. I should have wrote that down. Now, see, guys, I told y'all earlier that I'm a cancer survivor, but I think everybody goes through this. Like you have a thought and then it just goes. Okay, and then you got to bring it back. So Lord, bring that back to me again. Another time I heard that inward voice. Sometimes when you want to eat something, because we talk about healing. Okay, basically when I'm going to be talking about these faith-based lessons, y'all, it's going to be based on healing, because that's where the Lord really strengthened my faith. So let's say the Lord may say, don't drink that Coca-Cola. I know it tastes good and I love me some Coke, but he may say, no, instead of Coke today, I want you to have something else. Like what I'm having right now, y'all. I want y'all to see this. See, we gotta make different choices. This is called, I hope y'all can see it. It says live kombucha. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Live kombucha. It's a natural probiotic, and I have the guava mango. I got these from Kroger. And I'm just drinking some. I just poured some in my little glass right here. So this is what I'm drinking. And it's a natural probiotic. It has this, like if you like soda, it does have a carbonated flavor. Now it's strong. Now, the only thing I can describe it, like it tastes like, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Okay, yeah. In my lifetime, I have had an alcoholic beverage before. Okay, I don't drink now, but like back when I was in college or something, I tasted a wine cooler. I never drank a lot, but I have tasted, because I never liked alcohol like that, but it kind of tastes like a wine cooler if I could describe the taste. But it's not alcoholic. It is a fermented drink, but it is a healthy drink, and it is a natural probiotic. So like if you want a soda, but inside God is trying to, because he wants you healthy and he wants you well. He wants you on that path of life. He may say, don't drink the soda today. Get you something else. If you want that carbonation, get you some kombucha. All right. Like I said, they sell this kind at Kroger. I've never seen it any place else, but check your local grocery store. Okay. It's more expensive than soda, but today this week they have it on sale 2 for $5. Okay. So that inward voice, that little, like people say, something told me, my first mind, I heard something. That something is usually the Holy Spirit trying to warn you about something, or just trying to give you some instructions, or trying to give you a multi-million-dollar idea. We've had multi-million-dollar ideas just pop in our head. You're like, man, where did that come from? That inward voice. So that is one way, like I said, God speaks through people. And he speaks through that inward voice. That is the most common way that he speaks. And there's a book by Kenneth Hagin. I'll leave it in the link. I'll leave it in the description. I'll leave the link to it. It's called How to Be Led by the Spirit. That is a really good book on that inward voice and the ways that God speaks. That is an excellent resource for you to learn more about how God speaks. Okay, so now the last one that I'm going to talk about today is dreams and visions. All right, and I'm going to share my personal story about how the Lord used me or spoke to me very clearly in a dream and vision, and how it is so important that you hear God speak and you hear clearly, because if you don't hear properly, it may cost you your life. Like it almost literally cost me my life, like life and death, literally. But when I say it can cost you your life, it can cost you your life, meaning like opportunities, things you missed the ball and you missed the open door, and some opportunities, they just don't come back around again. You've been 6 years old one time in your life. You're never gonna be 6 years old again. All right, so it's so important to hear God speak. So let me tell you about dreams and visions. Now, in my last video, I talked about part 3 of a vision that God gave me when I was going through breast cancer. Today, I'm going to talk about part 1. Now, I don't know why God has me going in this order, 3, 1, and I guess 2. But today, I'm going to talk about part 1. So when I was going through my breast cancer, when I first got the diagnosis, y'all, it was very, of course it was scary. I don't operate in fear, but I was tempted, okay? It was very scary. It was very, it was, how can I say? Everything was just moving at a very fast pace. When you get a cancer diagnosis, it's like quick. Okay, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do it now. And so they really don't even give you a chance to really think. And so much was going on, and I was pulled so many different ways. I just said, no, I can't operate like this. And I came home from a doctor's appointment after they had told me the news. It was crazy, y'all. It was just crazy. It was just everywhere. And I said, no, I cannot function like this. I said, let me go pray. And I literally went in my closet, my coat, not my coat closet, my closet in my bedroom. I closed the door and I prayed, and I said, now, Lord, I need your help. I talked about that in my other video. I said, God, I need to hear from you, and I need clear, concise instructions on this issue, because this is a matter of life and death. And I'm going to tell you about a vision the Lord showed me. And immediately when I said that, the Lord took me into a vision. And in this vision, on the left-hand side, I saw all of the doctors that I had been seeing. I had seen a breast surgeon, an oncologist, the man that did my biopsy. I had seen, and then there was one other doctor in the vision that I had not seen yet. But in the natural, I had another appointment that I hadn't gotten to yet. So in this side of the vision, everything was white. And those doctors were like beckoning me to come. They were beckoning me to come. So I went in their direction. And I'm walking down this sterile, very sterile white road. And as I'm walking, and I walked past the doctors, y'all, I walked a very short amount of steps. The road was not very long. When all of a sudden, as I'm walking, this white casket appears in front of me. I talked about that white casket in my other video in part 3, but this white casket appears in front of me. The casket is closed, but I know in my mind that I am in that casket. And as soon as I'm thinking, oh my God, that's me. Wow, this happened so fast. I just got here, and already I'm gone, just like that. Above that casket appeared this big sign, almost like a neon sign. I mean, just a big sign that you couldn't miss. And on the sign, it said, chemo and radiation, the road to death. That's what I saw. And I was like, oh my God. And so just that quick, I was back at the top of the road. So remember, I told you it was 2 roads, one to the left. So now I'm back in the middle. So now there's a road to the right. To the right on this road is beautiful. It's like my backyard here. All the greenery, all the trees, the water. It's just so beautiful. Flowers. The sky is beautiful. I mean, just bright and sunny. I mean, just a beautiful sight on the right-hand side. On this side, I see my naturopath doctor, because at that time I was working with a naturopath doctor. I saw my family, and I saw my pastor and my pastor's wife, our first lady. And they were beckoning me to come. And I was walking down this road. And y'all, this road was almost like, it was so beautiful, this road. And I was just walking down this road. And I just kept walking. And that's all. And that's when, after I was walking down this road, I didn't see any sign or anything like that. No. Let me back it up. Then I saw, all of a sudden as I'm walking, this beautiful sign appears. And it says, health and wellness, the road to life. That's what it said. And then as soon as I saw that sign, poof, I'm back at the top of the road. So I got a road at the left, a road at the right, and I'm in the middle. And I'm thinking about it. I was like, well, Lord, why can't I do it both ways? Why can't I do both? And the Lord clearly spoke to me. Now I'm talking about this inward voice now, because and he said, you cannot go left and right at the same time. You got to make a decision. I was like, oh my God. So of course I already saw what's at the left. It's a short road, honey. And that casket is right there. So I chose to go right. And then I woke up out the dream. Okay. I woke up out of that vision. And so during that time, that there's no denying that I heard from God. And I even shared it, because again, going back to people, I shared it with some people. I sought godly counsel, and I shared the dream with them. Hey, you know, this is what I saw in this vision. What do you guys think of this? What do you think I should do? Y'all, the sun is coming out. It's a beautiful morning. Let's see if I can turn it. Oh, I'm going to turn right into the sun. Okay, I'm still kind of into the sun. Let's see, y'all, if I can get it. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit better. It's a little better. Plus, I need some vitamin D anyway. But anyway, so you know, and I sought godly counsel on it, because I mean, it was a very vivid vision. So I decided that I was going to go right. I was going to go down the road to health and wellness. So I started doing vegan. I started a vegan lifestyle during that time. My naturopath doctor had me on some medications. At that moment, we were not doing the chemo and the radiation, because like I said, on the left-hand side, I had saw chemo, radiation, the road to death. And but y'all, even though I heard from the Lord, even though I was doing all these healthy things, that tumor in my breast was not responding. Now, there were some other good things that were going on in my body, but the tumor kept growing. Now, I will say this, that it wasn't growing in the inside. The tumor was actually growing on the outside of my breast. So it was like protruding out of my breast, which was probably a good thing, because if it was growing in the inside, I wouldn't have been able to see what was going on. I would have thought everything was good. But being able to see that tumor grow outside of my breast let me know that something is not right, even though I'm praying, even though I'm believing God, even though I thought I heard from God, which I did. So one night after, it just got so bad, y'all. I mean, this tumor was growing. It's now bleeding. I'm so weak. I talked about it in my in the video where I talked about part 3 of this dream. I mean, it's a bad situation. And one night it was so bad, y'all. I was just in so much pain. And I asked my husband, I said, babe, y'all, and forgive me if I get emotional. Sometimes it's hard to relive some of those things that happened to me during that time, because I suffered. It was hard. It was hard. So during that time, And this was also during that 6 months period. In my other video, I told you that the doctors gave me 6 months to live. So all of this happened during that 6 months period. So it's from April to around September. And you know, I'm like, Lord, I thought I heard from you. I've changed my diet. I've done all this stuff, but it just seems like I'm getting sicker and sicker. I'm speaking your word. I'm not looking at the circumstances, but it just seems like I'm getting sicker and sicker. And one day I asked my husband, I said, baby, do you think we're doing the right thing? And this is what I want to get to, y'all. When you hear from God, his word does not return void. Whatever you hear, it must be in alignment with what is in the scriptures. It must line up with his word. So I said to my husband, baby, do you think we heard right? Do you think we heard from God? Do you think we missed it? And my husband simply said to me, he said, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow with it. I was like, oh my God. And then for whatever reason, he left out of the room and he went upstairs. So I was in the room alone and I was praying to God. I said, now God, I don't understand. I said, I did everything I thought you said no chemo, no radiation, but this thing is getting worse. So I said, what do I do? I mean, because y'all, I was in so much pain. When I tell you pain, I have given birth to 4 daughters. Now, we have 5 daughters, but I gave birth to 4 daughters. I'd rather be in labor than to have that pain that I experienced while I was fighting cancer. Okay, that pain is like pain you never. I used to feel like my breasts were on fire, and it was nothing. I mean, nothing could control it. I mean, it was just awful. And so I heard that inward voice, talking about that inward voice. I heard the Lord tell me, call the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, because now that's where he told me to go for treatment. He may tell you to go someplace else. Okay. So I was a little baffled, but I was in so much pain. I was suffering so bad. At this point, I just didn't even care. I was like, well, if I go there, they give me chemo and radiation. If I die, I don't care, because at this point, I'm suffering so bad. I'll be better off dead than to stay alive suffering like this, because every day I was suffering. So I called them. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, y'all. They answered the phone. Blase, made my appointment. They said they would call me back the next day to make sure everything was clear, whatever. So I got off the phone with them and I said, God, I don't understand. I thought you told me in this vision back so many months ago that chemo and radiation was the road to death. I said, God, I saw that vividly. You showed me in a vision. And the Lord clearly spoke to me again, y'all. That inward voice. He said, okay, I'm going to show you this vision again. But this time, I need for you to pay attention. I need for you to pay attention. So he took me back into the vision. And this time, I saw those same doctors. I saw the white. He said, now who do you see? I said, well, I see Dr. So-and-so. I see doctor. I name off the doctors. I said, now I don't know that other doctor, because like I said, it was an appointment that I hadn't gotten to yet, and I didn't go to that appointment. He said, I was telling you not to do it with them. Not to do it at all, but I didn't want you to do it with them. Because see, they had explained a program to me that it felt like you was on a machine. Okay, everybody just get the same treatment. And y'all, I'm telling you, had I gotten that treatment that they wanted me to get, I wouldn't have been here. Because I had 8 sessions of chemo, okay? And I had a mix, they mixed my medicine. They gave me 4 sessions on one medication and then 4 sessions of another medication. If I had gone down that road to the regular doctors here in my local city, they wanted to give me 14 sessions of this one particular drug that I did have. I had it for 4 rounds, and I was begging my doctor, please, don't let me do this no more. Please. That last session, I was like, oh, doctor, please don't. He was like, nah, Miss Johnson, we got to do it. So I did 4 rounds of that medicine. It was very rough. They wanted me to do 14 sessions of that medicine. I never would have made it. I never would have made it. And that's what the Lord was trying to tell me. But when I saw that, see, I just thought I got the word. I just jumped up and, oh, okay, I got it. But I didn't make sure I had a clear understanding. You got to make sure you're hearing clearly. So then he took me back to the road on the right. Now, I don't know about you. So let's say you're going to, for me, if I'm going to Columbia, South Carolina from where I live, I have to get on I-95 north. Okay. And then at some point I got to exit so I can get on Interstate 26. If I keep going straight up 95 north and I never exit off, I'm not going to get to my destination of trying to get to Columbia because I missed my exit. And that's what the Lord was sharing with me when he showed me the road to life. I couldn't see that down the road I was going to have to make an exit to get to my final destination, which is health and wellness. All I saw was I was walking a straight line. So sometimes when you hear from the Lord, he will only give you one instruction at a time because he knows if he shows you the whole thing, it'll just be too much and you'll mess it up. So I had to hear clearly from him. And once he broke it down to me and explained that to me, then I understood. He said, I was not telling you not to do it at all. I was trying to tell you not to do it with them. And to go back again where God speaks through people, I had a friend of mine who was praying with me. Her and her husband was praying with me through my battle with cancer. And she even brought it to me. She was like, I called the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. She was like, I don't want you to be mad. She said, but I know you're going to all these different hospitals, because I went to a hospital in Florida, child. They basically kicked me out the hospital because I didn't want the chemo and the radiation. They basically kicked me out. But like I said, I had that vision stuck in my mind. If you see a vision like that, you would look. I'm saying that vision was so real. That vision was so real. But I praise God for his grace and mercy, because he knew I was trying to hear from him, but he knew I just didn't have a clear understanding. And she told me, she said, I called the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. This was like in July. Okay, so from April, July, I got really sick and had to go to the hospital in Florida. And she said, I called the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. She said, would you be willing to give them a call? I said, no, because I still had that vision in my mind, chemo and radiation, the road to death. That's all I could hear. That's all I could hear. And so it wasn't until around September, after I was still suffering and bleeding and couldn't have breathe and couldn't have walk, and I mean literally almost passed out. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I went to the doctor on Friday, this past Friday. Everything is well, but my doctor kind of like retold the story of the first day that I got there. He was training a new employee, and he told them, let me tell you, you people in the medical field, hold on. My hemoglobin was at a 2-point-something when I got to the hospital. And the girl, her eyes stretched. She was like, and you were alive? She was like, you were conscious at a 2-point-something? Yeah, my hemoglobin was a 2-point-something. So I was in very serious condition. They took me straight to ICU by the time I got there. But once I got there, let me tell you how God works. And I'm about to wrap this up. Now, I mentioned earlier a book by Kenneth Hagin. During this time when I was fighting for those 6 months, I was listening to Kenneth Hagin Sr. a lot. His healing schools and his messages on healing are here on YouTube. And so I was listening to him, like I would listen to him all throughout the day, all night long, really building up my faith. So when I finally got to the Cancer Treatment Center of America, they had a Bible study one Monday night. I went to the Bible study. Here we go. God speaks through people. And they said, oh, tonight we have a guest speaker. And she is the granddaughter of a very renowned minister, a prophet in the gospel. Lo and behold, it was the granddaughter of Kenneth Hagin Sr., because he's now deceased. It was his granddaughter. And also his daughter, because they invited us to their church later on that weekend. We went, so I got to meet his granddaughter and his daughter. But that night at the Bible study, his granddaughter prophesied to me, and she prayed for me, and she said, God says, now listen, remember I told you God speaks through people. She says to me, she said, now God says, you're on the road to recovery. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now let me see how God works. First in the vision, he showed me chemo, radiation, the road to death. Okay. Then he showed me health and wellness, the road to life. Notice the word road. So when she said to me, now you're on the road to recovery, that was just confirmation that I had made the right decision. And I'm telling you, when I got it right, when we heard right from God, when I got to the right place to get my treatment, because I wanted I wanted to do things naturally. See, at the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, they do both. Because remember, I got to that crossroad. I said I wanted to do both. When I wanted to go to my local people, they was like, nah, we don't do no natural stuff here. You just gonna do what we tell you to go. You're gonna do what we say, and that's it. We don't have no other alternatives. But on this other road, I did a lot of natural things, and I do believe that those natural things kept that cancer from spreading, because that's the other, they were so shocked when I got to Atlanta, to the Cancer Treatment Center. They were just so shocked that the cancer had not spread throughout my body because of the condition that I was in. Okay, that was a miracle. God kept that. But there they do a lot of natural things. I was taking a lot of natural supplements. I mean, it was just amazing. So they mixed the natural side with the traditional medicines of the chemo and the radiations, and it made my body stronger, and I was able to like avoid a lot of the side effects. But yeah, so that is my story, guys, about hearing from God. Part 1 of the vision that God gave me. And just to recap, the ways that we hear from God is, I went over, you can hear from God through people, through that inward voice, and through dreams and visions. But most importantly, when you hear from God, it must be aligned with God's word. All right, guys, so I'm going to end this video here. I thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Like it and share it, guys, because again, you don't know who may need to hear this. When I was suffering, I was looking for something inspirational to encourage me to just hold on. So just hold on. So this is Mrs. J. I'm signing off here. All right, you guys be blessed, and I will see you at the next video.